afternoon. I'm Khaki Walton. Checking on the arts is made possible by contributing listeners, the Orpheum Theater, and the Germantown Performing Arts Center. Coming up this Saturday at 6:30 at the Cooper Walker Place Sanctuary, it's A Dark Night in the Cathedral, 4 concept pieces that combine dance and theatrics. Kristen Beeler is the writer and director of the project. She's been a choreographer in Memphis for quite a long time, and she joins me in this afternoon to talk about this very fascinating concept. It's very good to meet you. Thanks for coming out.
Nice to meet you too.
Well, when I first got contacted about this, and I didn't know much about it. I just got a little brief explanation, and I thought, okay, I've got to find a way to get her to come on the show, because it's just, I don't know, it just brings up so many images, and I'm dying to know what you're doing with this piece.
Well, it's been 9 years in the making. I've done the show in 2005. That was the first time, and I actually did it at the location where Cooper Walker Place is currently. Mm-hmm. And then I set the show in 2012 as well at another facility. And now I decided in 2014 it's my time to do it all on my own with no affiliation.
There you go.
And just get the dancers myself, get the venue myself, get the rehearsal space. So it's been a year in the making for the 2014 staging of A Dark Night in the Cathedral.
Well, what fascinates me most about this is that all 4 pieces are based on people's fears. Is that true?
Yes, and actually they're torn from the pages of my journal. So what you see during A Dark Night, any performance, is based on my life. All the characters in the stories somehow relate back to me.
Oh my gosh.
So it's real, but I add a twist of fantasy to it, to give it a little magic, I guess you could say.
So I've seen that this is described as an immersion performance. As soon as the people walk through the door, they're immediately in it.
Yes, you get a show as soon as you walk through the door, and it's not going to end until you walk out of the venue. There's many surprises along the way.
So people don't sit down and then the lights go down and the show starts.
No, not at all. You walk in, and then there's going to be stuff that's going on and stories along the way until you get into the venue, and then you'll get another surprise, and then you'll get a performance, and when you walk out, you'll still have surprises coming to you. Yep.
It just sounds so avant-garde and cool.
Well, I consider it a dance experience.
Uh-huh. Not a dance performance.
You'll get a performance, but it's an experience for the audience members. I want to bring the audience to all these different worlds and all these different pieces.
Mm-hmm. So it's been how many years in the making, you said? About 9 years in the making?
Yeah, the first show was in 2005, and we actually did it. I walked in the church for a completely different reason. With a couple of friends, and I looked around and I said, this place is really scary. And I thought, we need to do a Halloween show here. We were just joking around, and my 2 friends who are also in the arts, they said, okay, let's do it. How do we do this? I said, well, let's go talk to the pastor. And she was actually cool enough, and I called my dad, and he said, okay, well, let's build a stage. And we put on a show. It was Halloween weekend. I believe the date was October 29th, 2005. And we sold out the show. And it was very magical and amazing. And, it's always stuck with me.
Yeah. You did that, and it worked, and it happened just based on a little light bulb popping up over your head.
I walked in that church, and it was so creepy. And I said, this would be an awesome venue for a dance show, and a choreographer such as myself that, I'm a darker choreographer. I'm choreograph things that are real. Mm-hmm. It's not all happy and sunshine out there.
It's not all sugar plum fairies.
Right, exactly.
So these are things that are based on some of the things you've written down in your journal. Is it kind of scary, or is it empowering and sort of cathartic for you to bring that out on stage?
It's part of my therapy because I think everyone could agree that sometimes in life you get stifled. And it's the way I deal with things of that nature is to choreograph and get my messages out. So every piece of choreography that I do has a name connected to it. It's for someone or something. And once I get that, I conceive the idea and I choreograph it and I set it and it goes on stage, then I have my closure.
Yeah.
And that's what I've been doing for about 19 years now. So yeah, every piece is somehow related to me, but it's everyday life issues. So it's very relatable to the general public as well.
I mean, it's been talked about. That's really a healthy way of working through issues that you have. I mean, today's Veterans Day, and I've been playing music by composers who went and fought in the war and came back and got therapy through writing music and getting all their feelings out, musically. So this is cool. Now, your grandfather, I read, you grew up hanging out at his theater. He owned a theater in New Jersey.
Yeah, he owned a small community theater. If he's listening, he's going to be so happy that I'm telling the story. He owned a small community theater in New Jersey, and from the time I was very little, I was dropped off at that theater. So I was able to get a large sense of what goes on in the art community. I saw actors rehearsing their lines and dancers practicing and sets being built. So I got a large dose of art from the time that I was very small. My father also took me to Broadway almost every weekend.
Oh, wow.
I could remember seeing Phantom of the Opera when I was 6 years old. I still have the shirt with the copyright 1986 date on it. So yeah, my family was very influential.
So what a great environment for you to grow up in.
Oh, yes,
you almost couldn't avoid getting involved in something
like
this.
Right. No, I think I actually told my grandfather the other day when my father was building the props, turned around and said, "This is your fault." With my hair all sticking up and, me giving the evil eye to my father, and my grandfather comes out. I said, "This is your fault that we're building a cage right now."
If people have never been behind the scenes when a production is in the final days and you're trying to still get the lights all set and everything built, it's just insanity. It's crazy.
It is insane. It is insane.
Well, since we talked about the fact that all four of these pieces are based on people's fears, I don't know if we want to give anything away or not, but what kind of themes are you touching on?
Right. Well, we have two veteran pieces in the 2014 repertoire, and I don't know if they'll ever leave because they're very special to me. But the first piece is titled Graveyard, and it is a dedication to my mother, who I lost when I was 18 years old. But basically, it's about a little girl who goes to her mother's grave to grieve, and she gets one more chance to have a conversation with her mom.
Aww.
And, a lot of stuff happens during that piece, and it's very touching and sad, but, all my pieces give a good message. There's always a message to my pieces. And the second piece is called Funeral March, and that is based on my not so recent, but pretty recent, my recent divorce that I went through. And it's based on a dying relationship, the story of a dying relationship, basically. There's some fantasy in there, as well as all the other pieces. The third piece is called The Monster Inside. And that is a story about a girl who possibly wasn't treated appropriately in a situation, and instead of, bowing her head and walking away, she did not do that. She did the exact opposite, and stood up for herself. And the last piece is Nightmares, and that is a full-length 30-minute piece. It's 5 scenes. It is my drug PSA for teenagers.
There you go.
The message consists of things like being yourself, don't follow the bad crowd or the in crowd. Be okay with how you look and your appearance and how you like to dress and what music you like, because if you don't, things are probably going to end up a little rocky for you in your teenage years. So that's what Nightmares is based on.
That's a great message. I mean, when you grow up and you look back on how you were when you were 12, 13, and you were trying to fit, maybe you were going to a new school and you were trying to fit in and you wanted to adapt to what other people were doing. You're grown up now and you think, what did I do that for? That was stupid.
Right. Right. Yeah. I've taught teenagers for, I think I'm going on 19 years now. And I don't have children. And when people say, well, you'll understand when you have children, I go, oh no, I already know how these teenagers are. I've seen and heard a lot.
And you've been one.
Right. And I've been one. So I think, after 19 years of seeing these teenagers and being not only a teacher, but sometimes a therapist to them, I've learned a lot, and I just wanted to give something back and give them my insight.
I think that's great. So you're still teaching now? How many?
Oh yeah, I teach at Rudenev Youth Ballet.
Oh, you do, Mary? Yeah,
yes,
Dimitri.
Dimitri Rudenev. I'm the jazz teacher and the choreographer there. So,
that is great.
Yes.
So speaking of jazz, as far as the different styles of dance, you do everything from jazz to ballet to modern.
Yes, I was classically trained as a ballerina, but something happened when I was about 16, 17 years old, and I kind of became rebellious. And I just, I had a love for jazz. And that's what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm trying to give back to the Memphis dance scene. There's a lot of ballet and there's a lot of hip hop, which is great, but I don't see anybody bringing the technical raw jazz to the city.
Yeah.
So that's one of my goals. All my choreography is raw jazz based. There's ballet and there's a modern and contemporary thrown in there too, but I am solely a jazz choreographer.
So what about the music that we'll hear that the dancers will be performing
You're
to?
going to hear a lot of different stuff. I choreograph my pieces with music that people give me. Mm-hmm. So along the way, a lot of people have given me, a lot of students, ex-boyfriends, friends, they will, throw me a CD and be like, hey, I think you'll like this. Mm-hmm. Well, that's going to be used eventually. So that's how I get all my music. I'm a huge fan of Pandora Radio lately too. Mm-hmm. So it's A Dark Night in the Cathedral 2014 soundtrack is very eclectic. They're going to get different things.
Well, I figured it was eclectic because I looked at the YouTube clip on your Facebook page,
right?
And the music for your promo was super cool. I don't know what it is, but it just grabbed me.
Yeah, I'm sure you're probably speaking of the Nightmares theme. That's all Cirque du Soleil music.
Ooh.
But on those promos, I did a lot of editing and layering. I've come across the talent of learning how to edit my own music. So all those promos are layered and a little different than what you'll hear at the show.
Well, I want people to go to the Facebook site too. That's facebook.com/A Dark Night in the Cathedral. And you can just see some info about the show and see some clips here and there. For tickets, people can go to eventbrite.com.
Yes. And actually, we are currently sold out at the moment.
But you're making room.
But we are currently trying to make space for those who waited a little too late. But we are doing the best we can. So I would like everyone to keep checking our Facebook page, A Dark Night in the Cathedral. You can just type it in and it goes right to the page. And keep an eye on Eventbrite because I'm taking tonight to figure out how I could provide more seating for those who want to enjoy the show because it is a one-night engagement. Hopefully the next time we do this, we'll be able to do 2 nights.
Well, how much are tickets for this event?
Tickets are $15.
Okay.
And there are some physical tickets still floating around. All the cast members have tickets. I have tickets. You can contact me at adarkersideofjazz@gmail.com to perhaps get on a waiting list. I've already had some emails come in today for that. But like I said, they're $15 as of right now, and we're trying the best we can because I really, if somebody wants to see the show, I want them there.
Well, I'm telling you, folks, she's bound and determined, so I have a feeling she's going to make this happen. So get in touch with her. It's adarkersideofjazz@gmail.com.
That's correct.
And you can also just go to her Facebook page. If you need to send a message, you can do it there, too.
Of course. And like I told someone today, keep an eye on your email. And when the emails come in, I'm kind of making a makeshift waiting list.
Okay.
With the emails.
Well, listen, congratulations with it all being a packed house so far.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's very exciting.
A Dark Night in the Cathedral, 4 concept pieces combining dance and theatrics, and that's at the Cooper Walker Place Sanctuary. People are confused as to where that is. It's in Midtown. It's like almost catty corner from First Congregational Church.
That's correct. You go past all the cool restaurants, Cafe Olay and Young Avenue Deli, and it will be on your right. It's the big, brown, scary church. And it's scary inside, so everyone's going to want to check it out. Trust me, I've been there for a week, and getting the heebie-jeebies a little bit.
So that's the corner of Cooper and Walker, and the show is coming up, one performance only, this Saturday night at 6:30. Again, for more information, facebook.com/A Dark Night in the Cathedral, and you can check out eventbrite.com/A Dark Night in the Cathedral to see if tickets have become available, or just send Kristen a message at adarkersideofjazz@gmail.com. Kristen Beeler, she's a choreographer and has written and directed this production, and she's been my guest this afternoon. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Checking on the arts made possible by the Orpheum Theater, presenting Beyond Glory Saturday, November 22nd at 7:30. Stephen Lang's one-man show, which benefits Mid-South Veterans Projects and Memorials, shares the stories of 8 Medal of Honor recipients from World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. For information, 525-3000 or orpheum-memphis.com. And the Germantown Performing Arts Center, celebrating its 20th anniversary season with the dancers and acrobats of Cirque Mechanics, November 15th. Information and tickets available at the GPAC box office, 901-751-7500, or online at gpacweb.com.